Hello everybody and welcome back to another blind commentary of Overlord Season 3 Episode 2. Yeah, the previous episode was mostly just slice of life stuff with the Pleiades and the, well, very little with the Pleiades, surprisingly enough, but also just mostly with the Floor Guardians, just random stuff, and it was fine, I quite liked it. So the season started off rather calmly. I wonder at exactly what point things will start getting rather serious once again, because they most likely will, rather soon. So, without further ado, let's just get on with the show proper.
今後のナザリックのたちの考えを聞くことができるぞ。所詮俺の考えなんて素人だからな。
Once again, it's actually quite cool that he is actually wanting to find out more things about he is actually thinking about what Demiurge is thinking and trying to divulge that information while still sounding like a ruler. It is actually kind of clever. So he certainly does know Ainz knows what he's doing, at the very least to some extent. Or at the very least he has thought this through to sound more royal and more ruler-like than he actually is mentally.
まず第一に優先する。
Cause I love Ainz's expression, just like, yeah, that's exactly what I was planning. Yeah, sure, world domination. Oh dear lord.
冷静に考えれば世界征服というのも悪くはないか。
Now that I think about it, it's not a bad idea. I mean, it was rather obvious that was what Demiurge was going towards, so aiming towards. So it's it's pretty hilarious that Ainz wasn't actually thinking about it. It's kind of ridiculous, and I love it. It's hilarious. But also, a world domination sounds like a good plan for some so strong people. So makes sense.
悪名でも魅力がまるでない。ただ一人を除いて。また国に仕えるというのは。
Oh, now there was something important. Demiurge said that say for one individual. What exactly does he mean by that? There's a lot of implications there. Now, could be talking about that, like, it's kind of hard to exactly communicate the meaning behind the words, but it could mean that there's one person who it could be good to serve under, or it could be fine for one of the floor guardians. One of the floor guardians could actually accept, or he might be speaking that Ainz would have been fine with working under another kingdom for a while, for the time being. There's so many possibilities. It's rather interesting what he just said there. That's a surprising amount of implications.
私たちの動きもある程度は抑止する。よくぞ見抜いたな、デミウルス。
At the very least, Ainz is very good at bluffing, but I think a lot of the people just see completely through his lies. It's I mean, for a skeleton, his poker face is pretty undefeatable, but still, it's that's oh god, that's hilarious. Oh boy. It's actually pretty nice to see that the goblins are like, or goblins, orcs, goblins. I'm not sure about their race. Greenskins. They are just. Wow, that sounds racist. I'm not sure whether it's goblin or orc. It's a greenskin to me, anyways. It's nice to see them actually interacting with the villagers peacefully for the time being, at the very least, and it's quite nice to see that they are like actually living in harmony, like that they were ordered, like that that it makes complete sense. But it also is nice to see that they actually have personality. So it's just generally, it's a lovely little scene, just in general. Goblin. It's actually pretty interesting that they are still being taxed, and they are being, well, not currently, but they were being summoned to civil service. Like, those actually have implications about both the economical and sociological situation of the kingdom that they are under, which name I can't remember currently, but you know, it has some implications about that exactly. But it also has some important implications about the future because, well, once Nazareth is actually officially announced to be a country, they will probably take dominion over this village and probably turn it into a blooming city, and therefore they will start taxing it instead. So it will cause quite a dilemma, or rather, it will cause a greater conflict. So, yeah.
そのうち移住してくれる人だって見つかりますよ。
最重視してくださいや。薬よりも。
できる限り。
It's interesting that the goblin is actually offering love advice for the Nifrea. So that's Freya, whatever. To the kid boy. It's actually pretty interesting that the goblin actually is, you know, thinking individually. It's rather interesting, I must say. I like the goblin. He's a fun little green skin.
頑張る。
できる限りじゃね。さらに押すべきだと思ったらこのポーズです。
I love the communication like men. Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely. This the goblin knows the way of the man. It's pretty cool. I like this green skin quite a bit. He's a lot of fun.
さらにこう。そして。
がられているのだと。大体我が神はこうおっしゃっています。
These goblins, these goddamn goblins, they are they are very funny. I'm extremely amused by them. They are just really amusing to me.
あんたの神って悪。
It's actually once again rather good that they are showing these actually preparations for in case, or rather for the inevitable attack that will attack the city or town, whatever you want to call it, village. Hamlet. It's actually pretty good that they are showing that they are actually practicing self-defense once again. So it's good to show these kinds of little details. They are important little character building and world building scenes. So yeah, it's good that they keep them in.
ありがとうネム。ここはいいから昨日頼んだ仕事の方をお願いね。会社でさ、ちょっと包丁乱暴に使っちゃって。
そりゃ気をつけねえと。
How exactly did she manage to do that? What did she hit? Like, did she hit the ground floor, the table? Jeez, I sense that I have a bad feeling about this. A really bad suspicion about this.
この村には家事仕事ができる人がいませんからね。俺たちの装備も修理したりできないんですよ。
そうだったんですか。
まあ、そのうちなんとかしますよ。
I mean, there's a simple way to. Oh wow, that's a lot of blur. There's a simple way to fix the missing blacksmith. You just hire a blacksmith. Get someone who is, although it would be hard to get someone who is just an apprentice blacksmith to join the town. So abduct one. Yeah, that will go well. Okay, maybe it's a big problem.
どう？
ただ俺たちも村の手伝いで手一杯だからな。
この時期しか取れない役。
Actually, one thing I had to note, it's actually pretty cool that the goblin was riding a wolf or a warg or whatever it's called. I don't know exactly what it's called in this universe, but it's actually pretty cool that he was riding a wolf at the very least, because that's like stylistically pretty cool. Although it makes me wonder, like, once again, like the riders, one of the riders, at least in D&D, the main aspect for riders is that they bring their steeds with them, because they are devastatingly powerful, especially wolves. They are really powerful in combatants.
そうなんです。
頼みますぜ。
ここで振るんだ。もちろんさ。
遠慮は僕が守ってみせる。キラン。
Sparkling. Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful. This show can be pretty goddamn funny when it tries to be, which is, considering how dark the general theme should be, it's pretty good that they have bred so much levity into the show that there's no problems with like tonal. There's like no tonal difference with tonal problems, which is really interesting that they have managed to make it so that there's no actual overgrossing theme tone no overgrossing overall problems with the general mood of the show, because it's hard to do correct shifts with that, so it's actually pretty good that they are managing to do it so proficiently. Oh, that looks incredibly amazing. Holy sh! That looks cool. Well, at the very least they are being very benevolent, which is rather cool actually. But it also is kind of a mood shift from the... It also showcases the difference between them and the lot of rest of the Floor Guardians, because, well, they are not so benevolent, but it's kind of good to show differences in moral alignment at the very least. So yeah. No, I was not expecting it, but Niffy actually knows, like, magic, that amount of magic, like, actually being useful. It's actually pretty cool to see him actually be useful in a battle. And use actual alchemy. I'm currently in not actually one role-playing game that I'm personally running a GM NPC that is actually an alchemist, so I really am I'm loving alchemists right now. So it's actually pretty cool to see an alchemist fight. And in the show, it's really cool because it's very familiar. Okay. Well, time for the outro. So, yeah, it's quite a nice. Oh my god, it's already 31 minutes, but it's a nice enough episode. It's definitely a nice episode because it certainly focused quite a bit on. At the first, it gave quite a bit more humor and context to Ainz's plan. Yeah, sure, that was his plan all along. But it was actually kind of cool to see what Demiurge thought that Ainz was planning, so it makes quite a bit of sense, and it makes things quite a bit more clearer. But it also makes clear that Ainz wasn't actually hesitant about this plan. Or he was hesitant, but he was not dejecting the plan at the very least. So that's also quite interesting and kind of cool. So I quite like that aspect of the early part of the episode. Now the second part of the episode, the bigger half of the episode, was actually focused around the village of Karn, and I think it's that village named. I'm pretty sure it is. And it was focused around the goblins and humans interactions and all of the and a little bit more about the politics and economical situation of the world just in general, which is something that I quite like, because that also gives quite a bit of more world building. Although it doesn't give quite a lot of details, it still kind of creates a possibility for conflict in the future between the two kingdoms of Nazarick and the kingdom whose name I can't currently remember, who tries to collect that taxes from Karn soon. But it will be interesting in the future to see whether the villagers of Karn will be able to, or whether they actually are willing to join up with Nazarick just in general, because I have a bad feeling that they will be hesitant about that, even though they do own Ainz quite a bit. But it's just in general, it was a nice episode just overall, because it gave us a lot of humor and a lot of the lovely little interactions between the goblins and the humans, and I generally like these little green skin quite a bit. And it actually also gave a little bit more world building about the giant of the east and the giant snake of the west. And that will cause quite a bit of intrigue about who those two monsters actually are, because they have allowed together now and are probably going to be a threat to the village of Karn rather soon. It also gave one little bit of a hint about the other goblin tribes. So that was also pretty interesting to see. So I liked a lot of the aspects about the show. A lot of them. It had of the episodes just in particular. So yeah, it was just in general quite a lovely episode. Yeah. That was my speed recap about the episode. It was quite nice. I have no complaints. Although I'm still missing a lot of the actual, oh my god moments of the show. But that's just going to be fine. We'll probably see them later on. Yeah, it was a nice episode, and it's definitely a good build-up episode. So, with that being said, I thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day, and stay awesome. Ganmu out. Thank you very much for watching.